AI is everywhere. AI is in things that we're doing every single day. So here's a few of my favorite things. On the far left is Netflix. And I'm very glad that my habits during COVID are now off of my recommender engine, because for a while, like Tiger King kept showing up. So I mean, we go there all the time because we blow through shows and we're like, what can we watch now? And apparently I like teen dramas. Spotify, I'm in Spotify every single day. I love music. I love finding new music. I love listening to my old favorites. And I love the daily mixes. So I'm in there every single day using my daily mixes. And then Goodreads. I'm a new empty nester, and I'm in 3 book clubs, which is a little overzealous of me. But I love it, except when I have to pick the books. So I go to Goodreads, and it helps me figure out books based on my ratings, based on the books I've read, and all the things that I like to do. So I use a lot of these things in my personal life. And I'm sure all of you are too. And same thing with LinkedIn. Facebook, and all the things you're doing in your day-to-day life for work and for yourself have some AI component baked in at this point of our lives. So how do you identify who in the room is using AI in some capacity in your job today? Awesome. So the way we like to think about it is if you have a use case that's data-driven, if it's repetitive, something you do every single week, and I'm sure there are some things we are doing every single week because we have to as it's part of our job, or is it trying to make a prediction? And I would add one more that I did not add to this slide because turned this in a few weeks ago, is it generative? So generative meaning, can you generate content with it? So 2 ways to get started, problem-based model and a use case model. So a problem-based model would be something like sales are down, something very, very broad. How can we pinpoint a tool that we can use AI to help us with that? The way that I like to use it, just getting started in the past few years on this, is the use case model. So identifying a task or a project where AI can help. How can you save time? How can you save money? How can you save resources? And in my instance, what I'm going to show you in a little bit, is how I can fill a knowledge gap. So my biggest use cases right now are our podcast, which I'm going to go into greater depth on that, social media, coming up with new blog ideas, building our marketing strategy, which I've been amazed by how many of these tools can help us right now with our marketing strategy, repurposing content, and then email marketing, which I talked about a little bit ago. So I'm going to start with the podcast and finish with the podcast. So we have a podcast called The Marketing AI Show that runs every week. It came out in January of 2021, and we had about 10 episodes. The team, we would always interview somebody, and I was not there at the time. So we were trying to find guests. It was trying to build up, figure out everyone's schedules to get it going. And then in October of 2022, we said, let's focus on news, because people just really don't understand artificial intelligence. They don't understand how they can take this news story and how it applies to their business. So this is Mike, and this is Paul. Mike's our Chief Content Officer, Paul is our CEO. And we decided last October to let's focus on news. So what they do is over the course of the week, we have this sandbox of ideas within a Google Doc that we go through and we say, okay, here's some articles, we read about this might really make a good topic. And that's very, very manual, zero AI involved. And then we read the articles, and at the end of the week when we're building the brief for the podcast, we go through and we say, okay, these few stories would make a great topic. These few stories, and some don't make the cut. So it's usually 3 different distinct topics, and at the end there's some rapid fire things I just want to get through because AI is moving a mile a minute, and there's always some new stories. So they record on Mondays usually, and I get it out on Tuesdays at 7 a.m. So it's a pretty quick turnaround, but it has to be because it's AI. And last Sunday, the guys were both traveling on Monday, so they recorded it at 10 p.m. on Sunday, and then on Monday morning, Chris would know, I'm going blank, but there were 2 huge things that happened last Monday. Not this Monday, but the Monday prior. And they were like, we think we need to re-record. But we didn't. But we talked about those this week. So things are going so fast, so as soon as they're done recording, I got to get going. And the first day when I started, I said to Paul, let's get the podcast going, because it was so inconsistent. And we got to get back on track, because if you know anything about content, you have to be consistent. So we want the content to go out all the time. So I said, who produces the podcast? He's like, you. And I'm like, awesome. I have never done that before. I don't know how to do that. He said, go to it, find this tool, use some AI. You're smart. You'll figure it out. I'm like, okay. So is anyone in the room using Descript? It's the best. I should get paid so much money by them for how much I talk about them. So the guys record in Zoom, and if you went to Ailey Judge's session, he would say Zoom and Descript is a bad combination because he's like a professional podcaster. I am not, so I use these tools. The guys record in Zoom, and then I use Descript. So I get the MP4 when they're done, I drag it into Descript, and if you can't read it, it says your transcript will be ready in a few minutes, and then I'm able to go through and I'm able to say there are 2 speakers, and then I wait. I wait like 5 minutes. So it transcribes the hour-long episode, and then I click on, you don't see it here, but then it says, do you want to identify the speakers? And I say yes. So it plays Mike's voice, and I type in Mike's name. It plays Paul's voice, I type in Paul's name. And then it goes through the whole entire hour, and it breaks up in chunks, when they're talking. Helpful for me, because if I'm trying to find snippet content or I'm trying to do something with it, it's easy for me to find stuff. We do pull the whole transcript into our blog on the show notes page, so because it's great for SEO, and it's great for someone who is unable to hear the podcast, that they can read the transcript, and it's easier for them not to have this big chunk of block text where they can go through and they can hear and see the speakers as well. Not hear the speakers, see the speakers as well. So that's where I start. So this is what I was like blown away by, because when I'm thinking I'm going to go through and edit videos and edit audio, I'm going down to these sound waves and I'm sitting here and I'm trying to drag it and get it exactly right. But in Descript, all you do, so in one podcast, Paul said, I forgot the guy's name that was doing the interview, Scott something. I'm like, I don't know if I want that in there. So all I have to do is go through, highlight that text, and hit delete, and it cuts the video. I can edit videos by doing that. So it's magical. And even things like Canva. So in this photo, Paul is in our office standing against a blue wall. Mike's standing against a brick wall wherever his headshot was taken. And you can tell they're not together. I don't expect that. But this looks a lot better than 2 very distinct backgrounds together. So Canva's background remover is AI. And if you're a creative person that can do other design things and knows Adobe has things like that, but this is my skill level when it comes to design. And then Writer. So yay, Writer, Elora is here. So we do after the podcast is done, we do 4 blog posts. We do a show notes page where we go through and we do timestamps on different things, then we write a blog post on topic 1, topic 2, and topic 3. And so I was like, great. Look, I think you were the one that told me, try this recaps feature, you're going to love it. So I put the YouTube link in here, and I was like, I can't wait to see what comes out. So they gave me 4 key takeaways from the podcast. Takeaway 1 and takeaway 2 talked about topic 1. Takeaway 3 and takeaway 4 talked about topic 2, and there was nothing on topic 3. I was like, okay, that's good. So I took takeaways 1 and 2 and made the first blog post. 2 and 3 and 4 made the second blog post, and I wrote the third blog post. I'm like, there has to be a better way. So I then created 3 different videos where I made topic 1 of its own video, topic 2 its own video, topic 3 its own video, and then used Writer again to do the recap, and then it gave me what I actually wanted. So I'm learning now better how to use these tools.